New era at Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp is gone. Arne Slot is now in. What is the mood? Obviously, last season, wasn't a bad season for Liverpool. Carabao Cup win and all that. But a new era is dawning at Anfield.
Yeah, it's going to be strange. I mean, just from the basis of from a reporter's perspective, going to the press conferences is going to be strange to not have that, familiar face there. And I think, the thing is with Jurgen is that he brought both sides of it. Obviously, he was a world-class football manager, but also, for us, it was, his ability to churn a line out, to say something memorable, to come up with a magic quote, and just be a really good, representative of Liverpool Football Club as well. Really, that is something we'll miss. So there's huge shoes to fill for Arne Slot, and I think, the start of the season, particularly this game against Ipswich and the other games they've got in and around that, it's a big, it's a big challenge for him. It's a big test because, if you make a difficult start, having come in and replaced a legend, then it's, the pressure's on immediately, isn't it? So that's a kind of difficult element of it for him. And I think that again is, while he maybe would have looked at that Ipswich game and thought, could I not have had a home game, a slightly gentler opening than what's going to be an absolutely raucous atmosphere? I think he would have been looking at that. But I think, you would also say in terms of league finish, and I include Ipswich in this, having, being a newly promoted side, he's got a fairly gentle opening on paper, really. So I think he'll have to look to make the most of that. But as I say, really, really tough start for him in terms of the atmosphere he'll be going into. But, I think he needs that good start because, replacing someone like Jurgen Klopp is very, very difficult.
Ipswich Town, over 2 decades since they're last in the Premier League. And we saw last year, the 3 teams who went up, they went straight back down. What do you reckon? McKenna, obviously, very fought after by a lot of different clubs this summer. Stays on New Deal. Big task ahead, but can they do the unthinkable and stay up?
Well, I think the one thing I would say is that last season was a bit of an anomaly in terms of that happening with the three coming up and going straight down. So, I wouldn't say that's, it will have any impact on Ipswich in terms of their expectations around this season. They can, there's so many good examples of sides coming up in recent years and not just staying up by the skin of the teeth, but establishing themselves in the Premier League. So many sides have done that in recent years. And I think when you've got a coach who's as highly rated as Kieran McKenna, who was so wanted, wasn't he, this summer, and they kept him around, then he's got a real chance to prove why he was so highly rated and why people think so highly of him, by not just keeping Ipswich up, as I say, but maybe establish them. And we've seen some really high finishes from sides in the first year, so it's an opportunity to maybe be one of those sides who does that. I think the one thing I would say about Ipswich, what makes it slightly trickier for them, is obviously back-to-back promotions is an incredible achievement, but it's been with a similar-ish core group of players, which to make that extra step up is a big challenge. The difference in level from League One to the Premier League is huge. So that is going to be, there maybe is a bit of a tough starting for them in terms of getting used to what that level is. But I'm sure they will make the right additions as well. And as I say, they've got a coach there who, I've watched a little bit of, a little bit of background and read a bit about him as well. And I think one of his key things I thought came across in terms of what he's about, and correct me if I'm wrong, but his tactical flexibility in that, Ipswich don't just play in one way. And I think, that is something that is going to prove really handy in the Premier League, because not only do you come up against sides who've got greater quality than you used to, but they can beat you in different ways. Playing against Brentford is entirely different to playing against Manchester City, and yet they're both packed with quality players. So, that flexibility is something that could maybe stand Kieran McKenna in really good stead in terms of that. But it is a big test.